All right, we have a simple corridor running from east to west. We can see we have a fill section here, and it's deemed after the fact that it requires guide rail. So we could simply go into horizontal. We could do a single offset partial. We could give it the appropriate feature definition, linear, um, roadway, and roadway 3D guide rail. So I'm going to pick that. I'm going to pick the edge of sidewalk, and I'm going to go a half meter off it, and I'm going to run from here approximately 400 meters down. No mirror, and I made a piece of geometry that reflects my guide rail. So let's see what else we could do with that. Well, that guide rail is on the existing, um, on the proposed. So if I cut a profile of that, you can see that the existing terrain is there, surface profile. Obviously, if I use that for a drape, I don't know anything about the corridor. So we made an enhancement here so I could go quick profile from surface. I'm now able to select the corridor. I could also go through tasks, vertical geometry, and profile from surface and do the same, and locate the reference surface, which is the corridor, reset, and now that corridor is reflected, the top mesh of it is reflected in my profile view. I'm just simply going to set that active, and you can see that once that's active, it creates the 3D posts from the 3D line style. But I also want the guide rail face, so I'm going to just put the linear template in there also. 3D geometry, create, pick the guide rail right rail, and I'm going to lock it to start to end, the whole length, for 40 meters. I'm going to pick the side, description barrier, and place that in there. Now you can see that we have the guide rail and the face in the 3D. And here's the important part. So that rule is maintained from the corridor, even if it's not displayed the top mesh, just the components are. What I could now do is if I go into the template, and let's just make an edit of the template, and I'm just going to go to my corridor modeler tools, edit template. I'm going to select the corridor. And remember, we went off the sidewalk, and right now it's lower downs. Let's do this is incorrect. Let's match this up to the other side. It should be plus 2%, and I believe that's correct. You can see that there. Hit OK, and you're going to see this reprocess. It's going to lift that up. It's going to push that fill slope out more, and the profile is going to update. And you can also see that this is updated. You can see the guide rail face was placed incorrectly. In this case, simply I could go into the linear template and just reflect it to true, and that turns it around and fixes that up. Now remember, this is a geometric rule, so if I don't want this, I could always go in here to 1 meter and push this out further down the embankment, and it's going to go 1 meter out. It's also going to heal the vertical and go accordingly, so it's going to follow that top mesh. Okay, let's look at the top mesh enhancements and persisting the rule to a train model. I'm going to go in here and turn on the top mesh. And you can see the components on the top mesh are bleeding through since they're at the exact same elevation. So let's just clean up the components and just set them up so we can see the top mesh. I'm going to proceed to the train model from element. I'm going to pick the element. I'm going to reset when complete, soft break line. And I'm going to just change this to train display design triangles, max triangles 15. So we get a train model. You can see that in there. And I'm going to proceed to my output settings for design and turn this to false. Even if that element's not displayed, you can see the train model still exists. So we just have the train model out here. You can see the train model, and that's there we go, design triangles. And I'm going to just simply change the geometry and show that the train model is tracking the top mesh that's not being shown, and just simply by putting a horizontal radius of 200 meters here. You can see that the top mesh is propagating the rule through to the train model, so the train model actually heals.